Hi everyone. So today we are talking all about how the INFP versus the INFJ dress. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk about this is that I feel like there may be, I have this theory and about some things that may be misconceptions, I should say, about how each type dresses. And I think there's like a lot of misunderstanding. I'm going to break down why I think the INFJ dresses a certain way, why the INFP dresses a certain way. Okay. So, the INFJ is someone who has extroverted feeling. So what extroverted feeling is this collective feeling, meaning it's a they are in touch with the collective morals of the group that they're in, the collective morals of the world, the collective values and even aesthetic values of the group that they're in. And so the INFJ often will actually masquerade in a way. That's what extroverted feeling will do sometimes. They will often masquerade as just any other member of their group. They don't look that individual. They don't look that unique or individualized or anything like that because they have that extroverted feeling. But of course, when you talk to them, you're like, oh, I'm sorry. Didn't know I was talking to a spiritual leader. That's the feeling, right? It's sort of like, well, they look normal. They look so-called normal because INFJ is such a rare type, so they are abnormal, so to speak, okay? But they look normal, they look like everybody else or whatever. But then when you actually talk to them and you get to talk to them, you know that there's something different about them. And so the INFJ has this stereotype associated with it that they are actually going to dress very spiritually or very like they're going to seem incredibly aloof and like wear all of this flowy stuff and they're just like this ethereal angel-like figure. Uh, Oftentimes in real life, they are indeed very ethereal and angel-like when you get to talking to them, but they don't look that way when you first just lay eyes on them. They just look like, average kind of, they just look like everybody else because of that extroverted feeling. And they don't have a need to express themselves through style in a way because they are, again, they don't have that introverted feeling. And so they don't have that need to express their individual identity. Introverted feeling is all about individual identity, individual morals, individual this, individual that. It's about your introverted feeling. It's self-referential. Extroverted feeling is referential to the group. And so without introverted feeling, they don't really have that sense or that like strong desire to say, this is who I am to other people. This is my style. These are my morals. These are my values. This is what I like. They don't really have that desire to communicate really much of any of that. So they often will come across as, like everybody else pretty much. And I find that to be interesting because, you know, as a style, like I'm an image consultant. This is not what I usually make videos on, but I thought it'd be interesting to make videos on this because a lot of my work actually um, focuses on these like systematic approaches to finding what looks good on you. And so a lot of my work is about finding like, doing like feature analysis and things like that, and doing like color analysis and feature analysis and etc. to find the best like silhouettes, lines, colors, everything like that for someone. And, you know, this is the thing is that because I have this kind of systematic approach, I feel like a lot of people who are in the MBTI community also love that systematic approach. So this is where I'm coming from making this video. This isn't the kinds of videos that I usually make. So I do find, so having said that, I find with a lot of my clients, I find that the NFJs seem like they are like they fit in pretty much, and that's not to say that I have, asked every client what their type, what their, personality type is or anything like that. It's something that I have observed throughout the years, having been obsessed with MBTI for such a long time, for over, a decade now, and obsessed with all of these like analytical approaches to personality or analytical approaches to style and things like that. I've just been observing things over the years, and I found that even when I, just as an image consultant, I'm always thinking about style. I'm always thinking about how is this person presenting themselves, because that's my profession. That's what I do. So then when I talk to people and sometimes get into talking about MBTI, they'll often tell me, oh, I'm whatever, this type or that type, and even just in my personal life. And so I found that the INFJ is really someone who is going to blend in. They're just going to blend in. But then when you talk to them, it feels so different. They feel very different. They are definitely, they'll tell me they're an INFJ, and I'm like, wow, that makes a lot of sense, because this person they feel like an INFJ. INFPs, on the other hand, are the people who will dress like this. They will seem very aloof. They will seem very like spiritual. They will seem very much disconnected, because their only connection to the INFP in a lot of ways is a lot more disconnected and aloof and almost ethereal than the INFJ in a way, because INFP is the only way they're connected to the world, to the physical world. I mean, not the only way. I mean, they have extroverted thinking like in their fourth function that they never use, okay? But they have extroverted intuition. Extroverted intuition is all about looking at the world, but then looking at it in an abstract way. So let's think about INFP, okay? So we have introverted feeling in their first function. Introverted feeling is all about being self-referential, being all about the identity, the personal identity, personal values, personal morals, personal preferences, all self-referential. And so they're in their own world. And then they're like, hey, I'm going to connect to the outside world in this abstract way, okay? So they're gone, okay? Like they're nowhere to be found. They're all in themselves, like kind of just drifting. And that is the INFP. And a lot of the time, people will mistake, in my conceited opinion, INFPs for INFJs. And, I think that's why, because there's this stereotype that INFJ is this, this way, that way, but it's actually the INFP that's this way, that way. Because of what I just explained to you guys, that you have that introverted feeling, and then you have the extroverted intuition, which is just like abstract and, not concrete. And so they are very much aloof. And also, they will often identify, I mean, the INFP is someone who has a sense of identity, and the senses of identities of the INFP can vary widely among INFPs. Some INFPs just seem completely like average. Like they're not really standing out as someone who's like an INFP, so to speak, or an NF. But some INFPs can really be a lot more fringe. And the thing that will happen is that the difference between the NFJ in general and the NFP in general, either E or I, doesn't matter. The difference between INFJ and INFP, ENFJ, ENFP, is that the NFJ with their extroverted feeling are going to blend in more. The NFP with their introverted feeling will not blend in if they don't blend in. If they happen to blend in, they'll blend in. If they don't happen to blend in, they will not blend in. So the NFP is kind of hit or miss when it comes to blending in, so to speak. The NFJ, I find, will always blend in. You may find that the NFJ, though, is more drawn to certain career paths or certain lifestyles, maybe, that are more like sort of, I guess, maybe esoteric, maybe not, I mean, maybe they're just normal people who are not drawn to anything in particular, like any esoteric stuff. But if the INFJ is drawn to this kind of esoterica and all this stuff, then they will dress in that way. But if they are simply living their life and going to their 9-to-5 job, you're not going to know that they're an INFJ. But the INFP, if their identity is a certain way, like if they identify with being this way or that way and they go to their 9-to-5, you're going to know that they identify as this way or that way. Introverted feeling, you will know they identify a certain way. They identify with being like really into like alternative music or something, or they identify with being really into pink or this or that. It doesn't really matter. So yeah, and I find this with with both men and women and everyone in between, that the NFJ and the NFP are different in that way, that the NFJ will sort of blend in. And so I think that this may be all I have to say for this video. It's a little bit shorter than a lot of my other videos, but I think that's all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, you know, I made this video because I thought it would be an interesting like intersection to discuss how each type dresses and why they dress a certain way. You know, I have another video that I just filmed that I have no idea when it's going to come out or if it's already out, but on how each MBTI type dresses. So that was also really fun to make, and this video has been on my mind for a while now, so I'm happy I was able to share this with you guys. And yeah, I think that's all. If you are interested in booking some of my image consulting or styling services, then you can take a look down below to see if you resonate with them. And yeah, if you like this kind of analytical approach, if you like MBTI, if you like this type of thing, you're probably going to really love the stuff on my channel as well. Like for me, I loved MBTI, and then when I found the stuff that I have on this channel, like I made it my career. So I don't know, there's just something about it. I feel like it's a small world, and I feel like I'm going to find a lot of people who like my content who also like MBTI, and vice versa. A lot of people who like MBTI who may also like the kinds of topics I cover in my work, my channel, etc. So that is it, you guys. Leave me a comment down below as usual, and I will talk to you next time. Okay, bye.